Hi, Papa Bruce here. Just back from the trip to Hawaii, and already I've had quite a few questions about some of the subjects that I brought up or information that we tried to give you in the other two videos that we did on, or I did on Hawaii. Let's get right at it. Debbie made up a bunch of these cards with the questions, so we'll take a look and see what they say. This is from Jeff. Jeff says, do you have to make reservations to camp? We did. I think you do. There's two types of campgrounds for the most part on this island, Kauai, and state campgrounds and county campgrounds. Now the state campgrounds are quite easy. All you need to do is go online and fill out your application online. Pay for your site online, and then you can print your permit. So it's very simple, nothing to it. The other campgrounds are county campgrounds. Similar, but a little trickier. You again go to the website for the county campgrounds, and here you print out the application. You actually complete your application, and then you send a copy of your ID as well as a money order, not a check or no credit card, but a money order back to the county, and then they will mail you your permit. It took maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks, pretty darn quick to get it. What you do with the permits on either sites, you put them in a plastic bag and hook them to your tent, so if anybody wants to check on you, you can check the permits that way. So all in all, it was pretty easy. The cost, the state campground, we paid for 2 people, it was $20 a night. The county campgrounds are $3 a night. That is per person. The state campgrounds, they had designated campsites, and the county campgrounds, as you'll see in the video below about the Anahe campground that we were at, you just set up your tent wherever you wanted to. It was good. It worked out well. Okay, let's see what else we have here. This is from Susan, and it says, your videos show a lot of gear. Did you bring it with you or buy it locally? Most of the gear we brought was our typical backpacking gear. You saw the 2-man tent. We don't use, well, sometimes we'll take that backpacking. I also brought along a hammock, and that was handy. For the most part, for some of the stuff, though, we did buy locally. For instance, you see some chairs, a portable gas grill. We purchased that locally. And also, what else? Oh, a cooler. We purchased a cooler locally. We bought all those at Walmart. Maybe you could rent them. I'm not sure. But we bought them and used them, and then we donated them to a young fella who was working at the hotel we stayed at the last night we were there. So that worked out real well. Mark sends a question. It says, your hammock setup looks interesting. What is it? Well, it's a Walmart hammock made with a built-in mosquito netting. And I've had several other questions about that, and people coming up to me at the campground wondering what it was. So I'm going to do a gear review on that. We'll go into a lot of detail. I will mention that where we were anyway, in the 2 campgrounds, there's somewhat of a lack of trees to hang it from. So I would not bring a hammock just to use as a hammock only. If you wanted to use a ground cloth and your tarp instead of the hammock, that would probably work out well. But we did have a lack of trees, so it would have been a bit of a problem doing that. Okay, let's see here. Waldo? Really? Waldo asks, what local transportation is available? Well, when I landed at the airport, I was meeting up with my son Nick, and he was in about 4 hours later, so I grabbed a cab. Our little hotel was only, oh gosh, a couple miles from the airport, and Khalil Palms Hotel. There's a picture of it right here. Anyhow, so I just grabbed a cab to get all my stuff to the airport, and then I just walked back to the airport to meet him when his flight came in. I did notice, of course, buses that ran. I don't know how frequently they did. And what we did was rent a car. And for our situation, we pretty much had to rent the car. We were going to a campground and traveling out of the campground. For instance, up at Kokanee, up there in the mountains, the trailhead, other than the one trailhead that was right out of the campground, you had to drive to the trailheads. So, and then we wanted to explore the island, etc. If I was just staying at a resort where I was, I don't know, a company convention or something like that, like I did in another life. But anyhow, then you might not need one. But for what we were doing, renting a car was definitely the best way to go. William says, the comments in one of your videos say you are hiking in your 70s. How do you stay in such great shape? William, did you watch the videos? Did you see me? I need to be in better shape. Let's put it this way. I don't think I'm in great shape. I know I'm not in great shape, as a matter of fact. Anyway, well, heck with that. Okay, next question. Jim says, did you eat chicken? Well, I hate to admit it, but we did eat chicken. But we did not eat these guys, not the ones that are running around in all the videos we showed you. I heard they were protected. I don't know for sure if they were or not, but we did eat chicken, actually. Nick went to the grocery store and bought a grilled chicken. So it was good, only $8, but we didn't eat these little guys. They were too cute to eat. Anyway, I will say though that the eggs, I think they're expensive there. They're $4 a dozen, probably because most of the eggs hatch. That's why there's so darn many chickens. Go on. Okay, let's see here. So Jim, yeah, we ate chicken, but not the wild ones. Shelley says you didn't mention the Kalalua Trail, probably the most famous trail on the island. Why didn't you hike it? Well, the biggest reason, Shelley, is we were a little late in putting in our permits, and we didn't get drawn. We could not get a permit to hike the trail. As it turned out, maybe we were lucky that we didn't, because we planned on a trip now around day hikes, car camping, etc., rather than a true backpacking trip. Why we may have been lucky is that the road to the island, or to the trailhead, was closed. Terrible storms closed that road, and we couldn't have gotten to the trailhead in any event. Dirk says, what is this? Oh, is it easy to find fuel for your backpacking stove? Well, Dirk, I was told that you could pick it up at Walmart. Well, not when I was there. Maybe they were out. I don't know. So we didn't have any to begin with. We bought that gas grill, which uses the big, the good-sized green bottles of fuel that you've always seen. But we happened to stop at an Ace Hardware store to get try to look for some fishing tackle, and they had a couple of bottles of the fuel there. So I got one of the larger sizes, and it lasted for the entire trip. So I can't say it's easy. Of course, you can't carry it on the plane, but we were able to find some. But online somewhere, someone said, look at Walmart, and I did, and they didn't have it. Okay, let's move along here. Now, Debbie asked, how was your weather? Well, that varies, of course. We went there April 17th, and we were there until the 27th of April. 2 or 3 days, or 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a week before, I'm not exactly sure the time frame. Terrible rain, terrible flooding, and the Kalalua Trail ahead was flooded out. All of the, let me read my note here, the highway north of the Anarchy Campground, the next town up, I'll put it right here, that was all flooded. If you look on video on YouTube right now, you'll see terrible, terrible videos of the damage done. So prior to us getting there, it rained a lot, no doubt about it. When we were there, the rain was pretty darn good. Or the weather, I should say, was pretty darn good. Up in the mountains at the campground, at the Kokanee campground, that was rainy. It probably rained almost every night. If it didn't rain, it got really cold. If it was a clear night, it drizzled a lot, but it didn't matter. We really did enjoy it. So all in all, you know, weather is what you get. We brought raincoats to jackets in case we needed them, but we were prepared for a little rain. You know, it's just rain. You know, when it rains, some people get wet, and other people just feel the rain. Next question. This should probably be our last one. It was from Nate. It says, did you take any commercial trips or tours on the trip? Yes, we did. We took, on the last day, an incredible trip up the coast where we couldn't hike, we couldn't get to any other way, in an RIB, one of the rigid inflatable boats, rafts, big twin Yamahas on it. It was a commercial trip. Nick did most of the pictures and video at that trip, and I've asked him to send that to me, so I'm going to put together a separate video about that trip because I would highly recommend it. The outfit we used was tremendous. The crew on the boat we were on was absolutely outstanding. Couldn't have been better. But I don't want to spoil that now. I want to go into a much more detailed video when I get those tape pictures and video from Nick. Well, I think that covers most of the questions that I thought might be interesting to you. But if you have any other questions about what to bring, how to camp, any other ideas or questions, put them right down here in the comment section, and we'll do another one of these Q&As sometime in the future. Meanwhile, Debbie and I are heading out of here in a few days, headed back to Montana, and we've got a lots of adventures to share with you up there. Plenty of trails to hike and lots to see. So, until then, keep hiking.